let's go to the second month, 23rd day of the month, which is the day that is mentioned in Exodus chapter 16.
So the reason why we're doing this is we want to ask the question, in Exodus chapter 16, were they following the Babylonian calendar? Were they following the Orthodox Jewish Babylonian calendar? So we showed the narrative how that it matched on the priestly calendar, and we're told in the narrative that the second month and the 23rd day was the Sabbath. So now let's compare what the second month and the 23rd day is on the Babylonian calendar,
or on the Rabbinic Talmudic calendar that so many use today in the Orthodox Jewish world.
And people in the Hebraic roots seem to want to follow as well.
Okay.
All right. So there's a website, hebcal.com. That's HEBCAL.com, and there you can convert the Babylonian calendar date to the corresponding Gregorian date on our Western calendar. And so if you put on the second month, which would be ER, and the Orthodox Jewish Babylonian calendar, and then the 23rd day, the same day in our narrative of Exodus chapter 16, what day is that on our calendar? It ends up being a Friday. All right? But what about other years? So we have on the display here a display column for the years 2018 to 2048. When is the...
That's a 30-year period.
Yeah, so when is the second month and the 23rd day in the next 30-year period?
Well, I'm looking at it, and I don't see a Shabbat on that anywhere.
No, so in the narrative in Exodus 16, the second month and 23rd day was a Sabbath. Well, what day of the week does it fall on from 2016 to 2048? We see it's Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Sunday, Friday, Wednesday, Sunday, Sunday, Friday, Tuesday, Sunday, Friday, Tuesday. You see it keeps repeating on Tuesday, Wednesday.
It's missing the Sabbath.
It never falls on the Sabbath. So if it fell at least 1 year on the Sabbath, we could say, well, that was a possibility. But on this calendar, on the second month of the 23rd day, on the Babylonian Orthodox Jewish calendar, from which people celebrate the festivals, it is never a Sabbath. So on the Zadok priestly calendar, the second month of the 23rd day is always a Sabbath. But on the Orthodox Jewish Babylonian calendar, the second month of the 23rd day is never a Sabbath. And so this should be obvious then that they were not following this Babylonian calendar when the children of Israel were in the wilderness. And just think about it practically. Are we really going to say that the children of Israel followed a Babylonian calendar when they were brought out of Egypt in the wilderness? They hadn't even yet gone into the promised land. They hadn't yet been taken captive into Babylon. So it would make sense that they followed the Babylonian calendar when they were taken to Babylon. And then as they're coming out of Babylon, they're used to following that calendar, and they would take it with them. Now that would make sense, but think about it. We're talking about following the Torah, where the God of Israel called his people to be unique from the nations, where he told his people that they would be holy or separated from the nations, and we're going to make the claim that they followed a Babylonian calendar, and this is the calendar of the Torah. If anyone just considers it, it's a ridiculous thought.
And there's no explanations as to why this is the case? I mean, why it's not showing up on the Shabbat? Do we even know why?
Well, what we do know regarding the festivals themselves, as we talked about in a previous segment, that we have this postponement rules where they purposely made it so that on the Orthodox Jewish Babylonian calendar, that the festival days never correspond to the festival days on the Zadok priestly calendar. So when they did these postponement rules, is that what caused the second month, the 23rd day, to not be a Sabbath on this calendar? I don't know, because I haven't looked at it in that particular detail, but it's a possibility.
I think we need to do, well, I think someone, maybe in our audience, do some investigation into it. Try to locate the reason why that might be the case. There might be something out there in the rabbinic literature of ancient times that might express or explain the problem. I don't know.
So this goes from 2018 to 2048. I actually went back 200 years. And going back 200 years, the second month and the 23rd day is still not a Sabbath.
You still don't find
So there's like no way they're following this calendar in the wilderness. There's no way that this is the Torah calendar.
Okay, well then this now is going to bring us to the sin of Jeroboam, or Yerovam in Hebrew. Let's take a look at the sin of Jeroboam and ask the question, what was the sin of Jeroboam? In 1 Kings chapter 12.